Okay, now I'm ready.
Hi, yeah. We're doing a podcast today.
We're starting with the intro. I thought you said we're just gonna go. Wait.
Okay.
Now I'm confused.
We can record the intro later? Okay.
Yeah,
Jacque, how you doing? Okay. How you doing, Jacque?
Hi, Phoebe. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm asking today if you ever feel like there are too many podcasts.
I can't think of a more Jacqueline appropriate question to ask.
What a way to start us off.
Yeah, no, exactly. Then the existential spiral of starting a podcast with your friend and then immediately asking,
are there too many of these? Hi, I'm Phoebe. Hi, I'm Jacque. And each Wednesday we discuss life, love, sex, death, time,
and the internet in a new podcast called Do You Ever
Feel Like? Where we ask the questions that everyone's thinking and no one's answering.
I started watching Minx, and I'm so fucking thankful I was born no earlier than I was, because I am so fucking angry at the world right now as it is.
Can you imagine?
If I was born,
I know,
like 10 years before that, 20 years before, 30, I would be arrested daily. I mean, honestly, it's amazing I'm not arrested daily now, but
yeah.
I'm so fucking pissed. I hate men.
The rage.
I hate men.
I know.
Okay.
Minx. I feel like Minx is really smart. Do you like it?
I really like it. I'm mad at you because I want all of these crochet tops.
I know. The costume's so good. The clothes are so good. Like, all of it's so good. The set design is so good. It's a really good show. I think it's really smart. I think it's really smart and really funny.
The wigs, I don't know if the wigs are supposed to be as bad as they are, but I would like for the wig department to hire me, because that can help you.
I know what the oh my god, I don't even remember the characters' names now. Blonde, what's her name? Tell me why I just Googled two white dudes in 2004. I took the note and I Googled it. And do you want to know what came up?
I'm scared. The Zuck? Or what's the other one? Who's the PayPal homie?
No. Literally, the movie poster for White Chicks came up. Did it come out in 2004?
Really? It came out in 2004?
Anyways, Minx is it's good. There's so much penis in it.
They can't all be real, though. Like, some of them, I'm like, no, that's not real.
I don't know. I think you can tell when they're not real. They look like silly
putty. Yeah.
I think you can tell when they're not real, and later on in the season, you'll know one that is not real. But
yeah,
it's also like a legal thing. I don't know.
You're the Sex and the City dog
cannot be real.
No, it just cannot be. I'm like, stop. Like, no. My cousin was in Florida last year, or maybe he was maybe he was in Texas. It was Texas or Florida. And he met a guy who used to be a porn actor and who was known for his big dong. And he was wearing sweatpants because it's the only thing that was comfortable for him. Like, he was sitting at the bar, complaining, like, oh, it's such a bummer having this big dick. And he took a photo with him, and I was like, this was at the dinner table, and I was like, oh my god, that is the biggest flaccid dick I've ever seen. Like, this poor I know. He was just sitting at the bar telling his tale.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Aren't we all?
Interesting. Aren't we all just sitting at the bar telling our tale?
We're just walking each other home.
I know, right?
Shall we start? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
This is a natural starting place. Flaccid dicks.
obviously.
Yes, I think there's too many podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I think I would have had that feeling like 2 years ago, and then like what happened? I mean, I'm saying this now. We succumbed to the same thing, but everyone started a podcast like May 2020.
Oh yeah.
April.
Sitting inside. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I wonder what that stat is.
Great.
I wouldn't know. That's all I'm going to wonder.
Questions that have no answers. I wonder what that is too. Yeah, everyone seems to have a podcast. Like the person walking down the street that you pass probably has a podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think about this question too, as far as like, well, there's just like too much for us to consume, like period. Like there's just too many choices to make in life. I was at the grocery store this morning. Here we go. Story time. I was at the grocery store this morning. I'm on the phone with a friend and I'm staring at the chip aisle. And I'm like, this is why we are all like so not okay, right? Like this is why like the world is hard to navigate every day.
Because of the chip selection.
No, because of what Noam Chomsky said. Because of the illusion of choice.
No, it goes all the way to the top.
To Noam. No, because of literally like the illusion of choice. We have way too many options. We have way too many decisions to make in a day. Like the fact that I couldn't just like go in the store and I was overwhelmed by the amount of options of freaking tortilla chips is like, that's wild. And it's why there's like this pressure on everything that I think, I don't know, maybe I'm totally alone in this, like having a desperate moment in the chip aisle.
I mean, you know me in grocery stores. Like I feel like the grocery store is a great example of this because I walk in and I leave and I feel like I got smacked over the head. Like I have no idea what just happened for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
lucky
who
to
are
leave
you?
with the thing. I'm lucky to leave with the growing in the grocery store now too. It's like, I mean, I don't know what it's like in the States. I'm assuming it's similar in Canada right now, but it's like, you want the one thing and you go there and they don't have it and you're like, well, now I don't know what to do. And it's you're right. The choice is far too much. It's far too overwhelming.
It's too much.
And I can't cope.
I can't cope either. Like exactly. Like you leave this place, you're standing in the aisle and you're like, who am I? Like you know? Like I'm like, what was I even doing here? And it's like too much. It's way too much.
You're totally right because like when it comes to podcast and like just consuming anything, it's like, have you had this yet? Have you heard this yet? What's the next thing? What's the thing up a dock? And I think, I think Netflix is very funny. I think Bridgerton's a great example of this because it's like it pops up, you know, once a year. Once every other year. Sure. And like it's the fucking flavor. It's not even a month. It's like 6 days. And it's like, have you consumed all the things yet? And then it's the next thing. And it's got to be like, you've got to be on it. You have to be a part of the culture. You have to understand the references. I always think it's so funny. I go up north like 1 week of the summer and I come back and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. Yeah. I have no idea what's going on. I miss the podcast. I miss the episode. I miss the news cycle. Like it's so fast because you're on like layer 7 of the joke.
Yes. It's really isolating and confusing, I think. I'm not on social media anymore. And I'm part of like not wanting to be back on it is that. Yeah. I'm like terrified of that. And then it's like, how fucked up is that? Like, how fucked up is it that, like, there's, like, some sense of feeling, like, part of something or worthy or whatever because you've, like, watched all the cues of the episode, right? Or because you've, like, seen this show, you know, even in person or like whatever it is, right? It's like feeling part of like this pop culture thing. Now it's like another level because of social media too.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not cool or so. It's like you're not worthy if you haven't seen this, consumed this, done this, watched this, like whatever. And that's
I
wild.
feel like I'm the complete opposite end of that spectrum, where I'm a content vulture, and excuse me, I'm a content vulture, and I listen to everything. I watch everything. I recently downloaded TikTok. In love. Love that. Love to just delete my brain cells. Love to just like
TikTok was made for you.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. I know.
I feel like I felt that pressure. I think I was a content vulture like when I was on when I was on social media. I think I was the person that everybody came to and was like, "Have you seen this? What do you think of this? What new show are you watching? What podcast are you listening to?" And I had pride in that. And now I don't know what is happening with anything ever. And it's fine. I mean,
you asked
and that's
me
not really
a
even
couple
true.
of months ago. You asked me a couple of months ago, what is a Dua Lipa? Like, so earnestly. You said, what is a Dua Lipa?
I think I said who. I said
you
what?
You said, what is a Dua Lipa? And I thought you were joking, because I think that's the funniest thing ever. No. What is a Dua Lipa?
I don't know. Like, you know, people, it's like, oh, it's like the what is it? The first Monday in May? Is that the Met Ball? Whatever.
Oh, I have no fucking clue.
Okay. I think it's, oh God, I have friends who would be mad at me about this. I'm mad at me about this.
See, as a content vulture, I don't know anything. I just know when I need to start scrolling, you know, like the girlies are up. I gotta, you know, I gotta be on it.
Yeah. I can't remember like what. I like the Met Gala. It happens on a Monday. I don't know if it's like the first or the third. I think it's the first Monday of May. Anyways, who cares? Like, if I look at Met Gala or even anything, like anything celebrity lately, and I'm legitimately, Phoebe, like, who the hell are these people?
I mean,
like, I don't know who they are. Like, and that's what the Dua Lipa thing was I was like, who is this? I was like, what is this? Is this a band? Like, I don't know who this is. Like, I'm scrolling through like the best dressed looks, whatever, and I'm like, I don't know who this is. Like, I don't even necessarily think I would have known a year ago if I was on social media, but like, I was like, I don't know. That happens to me all the time. I don't know who anyone is.
I mean, you're bringing up a really funny point, because I think I had said this to you a bit ago. I can't remember what we're talking about, but I am so fascinated by people that feel okay, not participate. I mean, participating feels like a weird word, because I don't even really think it's like you need to. I think that's the funny thing that I think is like, there's like this so much drama, like should I or will I or won't I kind of thing. It's like, no one gives a fucking shit. Like no one cares. But I am so fascinated by people that don't listen to podcasts specifically. Like, oh my gosh, if you're not on social media, like, I don't really give a shit, like, whether or not you use those things. Like, I don't care. There's like this stupid, did you ever watch that motel makeover show? There's like this moment in it where one of the girlies is like, and he's not even on social media. So weird. I'm like, I don't care about that. Like, whatever. Your life is your own. However, I do find people that don't, mostly because it's like they're so part of culture, and there's something for everyone. It's not like an Instagram where you kind of know what you're going to get. Like, you know, there's a thing that's happening on there. They're so part of culture.
There's so many of them.
That there's so many of them. That's like, what do you mean? How do you missing this in your? You're not. I don't get it. And I think it's only something like 30% of North America listens to podcasts, which is insane.
That's not real. Is that true?
I think so. I mean, what do I know? What?
No, that's insane.
I think.
Okay. So I have quite a few friends who don't listen to podcasts. I have quite a few people in my life who don't listen to podcasts, and most of the people in my life who don't listen to podcasts are like music people.
Yes,
like they're very into music, and like they're always listening to music or they always have music on in the background. And I don't know, I think this is kind of fascinating, right? Like who's a music person and who's like a person listening to other people talk, right? And like how do they differ, you know? Yeah, and then also this idea of like you bring a podcast everywhere with you or you bring music everywhere with you. And like, I don't know, it's probably a little bizarre that we are like listening to other people talk while we're in the shower, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
I guess that's a good point because I think it's funny, like the idea of listening to music. I grew up like, I would say a lot of my family are more kind of music people like that. And like, I grew up in a house where music is just on all the time. And that I think is so, I don't know.
I can't do
it's
that.
a good point. No, neither can I.
I can't
Neither
do
can
it.
I.
I can't do it. I can't do it. And I think, I don't know what it is. I don't know why I can't do it. Because I don't think it's like not wanting to be bittersweet or like not wanting or being like taken away in the drama of the music. Like I want to say that's the reason. Like I'm too sensitive to have music all the time or whatever the hell, right? But I don't think that's what it is.
It's not part of
I don't think that's what it is.
My being, my well-being can't, my disposition.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think that's what it is. I think I like, honestly, I think it's because like I can't be alone. If we're
just
really
gonna dive right into,
we're gonna dive right in. I think I prefer a podcast because it's another human talking, and I'm really not okay with myself.
I'm having a physical reaction. I didn't ask to be therapized.
Okay,
at the moment.
Sorry.
So,
well, I'm just talking about myself. I'm talking about myself, Phoebe.
And another weird similarity, Jacqueline and I share. Trauma.
Is that capital T?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that might be why I'm coming to this conclusion right now. Like,
yeah,
why
no,
prefer one over the other?
Yeah, I guess like my motivation, it depends. I very much have like, I can't do the true crime thing anymore. I used to really hard. I mean, I was a Serial person. When did Serial come out? 2014, 2015, something like that.
Oh, wild.
And I was a podcast listener before that, but you know, I think that really set me on my track. It became a thing, right? And I guess that's maybe what I'm talking about. It's like, it's so crazy to me to like, when something is of the moment, whether it's Serial, whether it's Bridgerton, whether it's like, you know, where the thing is, I find the need, not even just need, I desire, like I like it. I like participating in that conversation. And I guess that's what I think is so funny when people say that they don't listen to a podcast. I'm like, but how do you know what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, how do you know what's going on? And then like, I don't know. Like,
what are you talking about at like, you know, over coffee?
Yeah. What are you talking about over coffee or, this is so crazy. Like when I feel like I was more, I'm not like what did you call it? A content vulture? I'm not like a content. I'm not as much of a I don't know.
I'm starving.
What is a smaller, less feral bird?
How dare you?
Wait, is feral the right word? That's not the right word.
You're not a raptor. You're not a raptor.
I'm not a raptor of it now.
You're like,
but I'm
maybe
still in it.
You're just like a robin grabbing a worm.
Exactly. Like I'm still kind of in it but I'm like on the sides of things.
You're not starving.
Like, no, I'm not starving. And
I love it. I love going insane, especially with a celebrity podcast. I love like knowing stupid details about shit. Oh, I mean like about celebrities. We're the celebrity
we're going to go into the celebrity podcast rant. That's going to happen. But I think that, I don't know, like I it's like, right. It's like, okay, like it's both of these things at the same time. Like, should we feel this pressure of knowing all these things, being a part of these things, whatever, like probably not healthy, but then also, like I do get something from that.
Yeah.
You know, like I do enjoy these things, or I like to watch TV, or I like to listen to podcasts, or I like to read the newest Oprah selection, or like whatever it is. Book. Yeah. No, I shouldn't say Oprah. I should say Reese, if I'm being really honest. I should say Reese, not Oprah. I love to know what Reese Witherspoon is reading. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I feel like there's less now that I'm not on social media. There's less pressure around it, and there's more joy. Like, there's more joy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think it's kind of interesting too. Like, even like the things that you will recommend to me are things that I'm not seeing in the places that I go online. And I guess that maybe that is very interesting where like if I were to talk to a friend that's like more online in that way, I think we would probably be talking about the exact same thing. So I guess it's where like diversity of friendships is a lovely thing to have.
A lovely thing to have. And also, like, I'm not like a real millennial. Like, I don't know who Dua Lipa is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, even though I think that would technically be Gen
I mean, I was going to
X.
say, I think, no, they're the Zs.
Gen Z. I was just talking to Jack about this and have forgotten our conversation that we had an hour ago. He was telling me which ones are which. I forgot.
I mean, I have to do the Canadian. You just saw it in real time. Gen Z, because we call it Z in Canada anyway. Whatever. Yeah. No, okay. I think that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing. Do Gen Z listen to podcasts? I don't think so.
Oh, I don't know.
That's a question to ask.
Do you know anyone who's technically a Gen Z?
All my siblings are Gen Z.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, we're kind of like the last millennials. We're the end of the millennials.
You and me.
Yeah.
Us?
Yeah. We're right at the end there. I think it's like 95 or something like that, technically. So I guess whatever, a couple of years. But
isn't it weird to think about how like people were born in 2005? Like what?
I mean,
I think that's bizarre.
My littlest brother, my littlest brother was born in 2001.
Oh my god!
And he's like a grown thing. Like he's a grown person. Yeah.
This is what I mean. Like what?
No, I know. Wild. And I think, I have no idea. I know quite a few Gen Zs like in my life, but I don't think any of them listen to podcasts. I really don't. So that's an interesting question. Maybe we need a Gen Z. We need a Gen Z corner. We could throw our questions too.
Sure. If you are a Gen Z, write in. Do you ever feel pod at gmail.com? Yeah.
Yes.
Was that right?
Yes, you got it.
I got it. Woo. Or comment below in whatever you're listening to this in.
What are they commenting on?
But there's comments, right? In the
yes. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Like
okay.
if you're listening to it
on YouTube
platform that provides a comment.
Yeah.
Apple does too. They do like ratings and you can comment or whatever. Tell us if you are a Gen Z that listens to a podcast. I want to know. Okay, so hello again. No. Okay. So Phoebe and I, when we were creating this podcast, were thinking about like fun segments and things to do. Welcome to What Have You Changed Your Mind About?
A podcast within a podcast.
A podcast within a podcast. Now, Phoebe and I kind of change our minds a lot about everything. And I think that is the way to live.
Yeah.
So we're going to share each week what we've changed our minds about. Mind about.
Our singular mind, the one brain we share.
The one brain.
It flies back and forth across the border every 6 hours.
Exactly. So that's what this is. So Phoebe, what have you changed your mind about this week?
I have changed my mind about veganism. And this will surely be a whole other pod because I'm very new into this journey. But I think it's something I never thought was for me. I thought it was for people that wanted to be evangelists about a thing. And I think the thing I've changed my mind about, I guess, just kind of more has to do with the trying something and not being perfect at it and never really wanting to be perfect at it. And trying something because I know it will make an impact in it's like 37 degrees outside today. And I think it's like I've changed my mind about I have an impact. I can have an impact in this world, and I've had an impact that I do think trying is worth it. Even if it's like I don't want to be 100%. I just want to have an effort. I don't even know what percentage I want. I just want to try.
Yeah.
What have you changed your mind about?
Mine is related to food as well. That's so funny. I've changed my mind about mushrooms.
Welcome.
I used to hate mushrooms, and now I'm like totally into them. I'm like, does that quesadilla have a mushroom on it? Yes, please. Like, can I saute a mushroom up and eat it? Love it. I don't know.
I like that.
I think I've always been like a texture eater person. Like that stuff has always like, I'm very sensitive to certain textures, and I was like not into mushrooms, and now I am. So that's what I've changed my mind about.
I love that. Mushrooms. I think we should be open to trying everything, because you never know when you have changed your mind.
That's true.
You never know.
That's true.
And you could have been missing. Think of for how long you could have been missing mushrooms if you just decided that you didn't like them forever.
I know. And I think I might be making this up, but aren't they like a good source of like alternative protein?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a new vegan,
am I making that up?
I eat a lot of mushrooms now.
I mean, I was about to say, like, what is your?
I eat many a mushroom. I love a mushroom. Yeah. Well,
it's so interesting.
I love changing my mind.
I love changing my mind too, and I think we should all be more confident in changing your mind, and know that it has nothing to do with who we are as people that we change our minds.
Maybe we'll change our minds back.
Yeah, I might like hate mushrooms tomorrow.
That's fine. I might just like cover myself in milk tomorrow.
That's an extreme.
I don't know what tomorrow holds, okay?
This is what we're saying. Yes, exactly.
Stay open to all things. All things are possible.
All things are possible in this segment of What Have You Changed Your Mind About?
All right. Back to the pod. No, I want to know too. But yeah, I don't know. I find it interesting. I guess it's just my whole, I don't even know if this is not a thesis. It's just a confusion I have of the world. Yeah. It's like, there's something for everyone. There's really a Mark Maron interview for us all.
Sure. Okay. It's so funny to me because, so this is the thing. This is what's so funny to me because I say that and I'm like, why is it that I can swallow listening to Armchair Expert, but I cannot swallow listening to Mike Maron? Like,
I used to be such, WTF? I used to listen so much when it was like such a thing.
Really?
When it was like such a thing. Yeah, like 2000 and I was working this, I think I might have told you the story before. I was working this shitty job at Urban Outfitters. I used to be the make the displays. And so it was a great job for listening to podcasts. I guess that's the other thing. As an artist, you kind of spend if you're not in a studio with other people, you're like you have like, if I'm going to be working for like 6 hours on something, I plug in. I like queue them up for a little while. And I remember being in the wood shop in the basement of the Yonge Street Urban Outfitters. I don't think I signed anything. I'm scared of corporations. I'm like, can I tell this story?
Edit it out.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll check my contracts. This was so long ago. I don't think any of these people will listen to this.
Yeah,
if you work at Urban Outfitters, write in. But I was downstairs in the wood shop at the Yonge Street Urban Outfitters in Toronto. Why am I doxing myself as well? Anyway, listening to Mark Maron, which was such a fucking thing.
Oh my God.
Like
Did I say Mike?
Yes, you said Mike Maron. I What is a Dua Lipa on Mike Maron's podcast?
on Mike Maron's podcast.
I mean,
I have no idea.
I think this illustrates our dynamic very sweetly. And I think this is why I call it like the most Jacqueline question you could possibly ask, because it's like, it's this like existential spiral paired with like a, I'm doing it anyway and I don't care kind of attitude.
Yeah.
And it's a milkshake,
like,
a cocktail
I welcome
quite
it.
enjoy.
Yeah, like I really do. I welcome for someone to be like, don't you feel like there are too many podcasts?
Yes,
I mean, to be like,
yes,
I'm doing one too.
Yes, yes. I also have a production company with a friend.
Yes, like I feel like there are so many, and I'm also contributing. And I mean, we all basically have our own radio shows now. Like that's essentially what we're.
I can't believe. Okay.
I didn't let you finish the Urban Outfitters story.
I'm like,
you.
No, I'm interrupting myself now about Mike. But I was listening to Mike Maron episode. We're never gonna get on now. No, we're dissing him in our first episode.
No, fuck. I'm not.
But I was listening to. Our careers haven't even started and they're already over. I was listening to an episode and like I'm sure he would have had this was like after Serial. I'm sure he would have had a billboard at Yonge and Dundas at the time. And I come down the stairs and I'm like working alone. My boss comes downstairs and he says to me, I'm like sawing stuff. And he says to me, oh, like, you doing okay down here? And I was like, yep. He was like, just listening to your little talk radio. And I was like, I was like, I'm not explaining podcasts to this old man who was like a year older than me, I think. But I was just like, I'm simply like, get on the level. What's happening here? Do you not?
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I'm so confused.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I know nothing. I should say that it's not fair for me to be like, why I won't listen to Mark Maron, but I will listen to Dax Shepard.
And I mean, also, again, I was going to say different. I'd rather die, but that's not true. Because I do listen. This is the thing. Here's the thing about me. I listen.
Wait, in general or to armchair expert? What?
No, just like as a content vulture, I will say something's dumb and participate in it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I love your rant about this is what I do. When people have thoughts, I call them rants.
And all of my thoughts are rants. Thank you.
About like, yeah, just like joy. Like you have like I've heard you say this like many times. Like, yeah, you like Armchair Expert? Fine. Like something that brings you joy, like listen to it, right? You like Harry Styles, you like stop being embarrassed of the shit that like brings you,
especially shit that's like, I mean, I think it's so funny when we're kind of giving us like pee pee poo poo, whatever the hell, that's like a very mainstream, extremely popular, produced especially for the
consumption.
World, for consumption and for you to enjoy. Like, stop resisting. Let the pleasure wash over you. Like, what are you doing? And that's what I'm gonna say. Like, you know, I have whatever feelings about whatever celebrities, but like, I do. Oh, you have so and so on. Oh, great. You know, I will enjoy the thing. I will listen.
Yeah. I mean, celebrity podcasts, they basically just interview one another. That's essentially what a celebrity podcast is. It's like, it's like celebrities just interviewing celebrities.
And listening to themselves talk, which is what I'm also here to do as well.
I will listen. I will listen to one celebrity go on then other celebrities' podcasts and tell the same story about this same thing that reveals some kind of childhood whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's highly relatable.
That's highly
perfectly
relatable.
Consumable. That can be aggregated to many a media outlet.
Exactly. I will eat that up.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Fine.
Yeah.
Kristen Bell is on 3 million podcasts and interviewed. I will listen to her talk about her anxiety and depression all day, every day. Like,
Yeah.
please. Great. Do I think it's so wild that that's basically all celebrity podcasts are? Yeah, I do. But like, whatever. Who cares? Like, I love to feel less alone. Like, that's what it is. We like want to feel less alone. You know?
I want to feel, yeah, I mean, and I guess that's yes, 100%. I mean, like that. I couldn't tell you what is happening on The Bachelor, but I know many a Bachelor podcast, you know,
Oh,
and
really?
like, it's
you
a
do?
thing. It's a thing. I mean, I don't listen to them,
Well,
but there's
I know.
like a thing.
Oh, you don't listen to them. Oh, I know it's a thing, but I didn't know if you. I thought you were saying you listened. Never mind.
I mean, I'm sure I have. You know, I don't know what I listen to. That's the other thing. I said my friends in the next room. I just need parasocial relationships wherever I can go.
Parasocial. Ooh.
Oh my
lovely.
Gosh. Have you heard of this?
Drop of that term.
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
I have, but this, yeah.
Yeah, everyone loves it. It's everyone's favorite thing.
I don't know. I mean, I do like Armchair Expert a lot. Like, okay, so what are some of our faves? Let's talk about other podcasts on our podcast.
And not just complain about
white
celebrities.
Guys.
Right. I mean, I guess that's the other thing too, right? That's my biggest problem. This is my biggest problem.
Yes.
It's my problem with men. Whatever. Okay. My favorite podcast, and we talked about this when we were talking about, here's a little behind the scenes moment, listener, but in kind of organizing this dynamic, I think my favorite podcasts have a purpose. And I think that's where, I think this is maybe like why people want, you know, what's the like the shtick? What's the hook? What's the like, I think that you need a little bit of the, I don't know, what's the word I want to use? Like just like a goofy, hokey thing.
Yeah.
And so like my favorite
what's the byline? Byline?
Yeah, whatever that is. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of. But like when I think of my favorite podcasts, they all have some sort of thing. And like a lot of them tend to be movies or media related. Because like I said, I love to listen to a thing. I love to listen to a thing. I love to watch the thing after. You know, I love a companion piece. But I love Millie and Danielle of oh my God, listening this morning. I love Millie and Danielle of I Saw What You Did.
Oh, yeah.
And I love like, and it's the same thing. It's like there's a certain like, you know, it's about movies. It's also about friendship. And I think that's the exciting thing to like listen to. That's the exciting thing to pay attention. I was saying I used to be a big true crime podcast person. I had to stop because it was rotting my brain. And I definitely have feelings about the true crime podcast world.
Yeah.
Think it can be a bit dangerous. Think it's a little white saviory.
Ooh.
Not to say that, you know, if you're an enjoyer of true crime, I just think there's a really great podcast episode of Cultish. Is that the podcast? Oh, Is It a Cult? Is It a Cult? She wrote Cultish. But on true crime, which I think is really good. And like, there's certain levels to it. And I mean, if we're going to be listening to like these people in our ears all the day, it's just going to be doing something to us. So I think we need to be a little bit more like, you know, purposeful of what we're putting in our ears all the time, because it was making me afraid to go outside and live my life. And we should go outside and live life, because it's bad, but like no more bad than it was before, you know?
Yes. Yeah. I think about this all the time. Like this idea of like, you know, the world is actually safer than it's ever been.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah.
But we believe that it isn't because of what we're talking about, right? This like constant intake all the time of whatever. Via podcast, news, like whatever it is, where we're told like the world is horrible and unsafe and horrible and unsafe over and over and over and over again. Yeah. My experience with this has been having to take the Neighbor app off my phone.
Oh, I don't know if that's a thing in Canada or if I've just missed it, but that sounds awful.
It's first of all, the concept of these things are a little like, what are we doing? Right?
Yeah.
Like there's that discussion. But
Yeah.
then also like, yeah, constantly knowing all the time what is happening, 2 blocks away, like whatever it is next. Like it's scary. Like we're
so
not
and so
supposed to
took a
live like
package off
this.
of my porch. It's like, well,
Exactly.
good for them, to be honest. Like,
I mean,
it'll get replaced.
Whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's a lot of that. And then there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that's like not like that, right?
No.
But it's like you can't be constantly reading those things all of the time because you can't live your life. Like you can't, like if we all just like read about all the bad shit all the time or listened about all the bad shit all the time, we would not be able to live our lives. Like,
no,
which
I know.
is a scary like place too, right? Like the fact that that's the reality is scary.
I mean, you can get hurt indoors.
Yeah.
That SpongeBob song is coming to mind. I can't think of the, oh my gosh. I know a place. I think it's like, I know a place that's safe and warm. Yeah. Indoors.
Ooh,
but
I
it's
like this
not
song.
I can't remember all of it. Many blessings
Okay.
to SpongeBob, but I don't know. I guess in this like overconsumption of stuff, it's like you need to be mindful of what it is.
Yes, you have to.
And like your role that you play in that. I mean, this is like another thing, and I think this is maybe why I won't listen to a lot of celebrity podcasts, and my like inherent dislike of them is like I just no longer want to support white men talking.
Yeah.
Any more than they already are, which is like, I don't, like that's a me thing I need to sort through. But like, I really won't. I really won't.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I mean, in defense of armchair expert, always over here.
I know, and they're getting the
yes, but also like Monica's a huge part of that podcast.
No,
like,
I know,
I know, huge part of that podcast.
Totally,
but I also feel like there's so much that is just not like. It's like they go somewhere, they go certain places really easily and well, but there are some places that they just like haven't gone yet, and I'm just like, when is this happening? You know what I mean? Like, when are you talking about gender? Like, when is that coming? Like, when is that happening? Because I mean, so many people listen to that podcast. It's like and like, I don't know, it just feels like it's strange to me that we haven't gone there yet.
I guess that's
there's stuff to do is what I'm saying. There's always stuff to do. I guess with all of us, there's always stuff to do. I mean, interrupting. I just keep interrupting Phoebe. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm literally interrupting you back.
That's what this is. That's what this is.
That's what a podcast is. Just two friends interrupting each other back and forth forever.
Yep.
Oh my God, like Miranda July. But what was I gonna say? No, and I guess it's like maybe kind of my problem with like a lot of different, whether it's a celebrity podcast, whether it's true crime, whether it's like anything, it bothers me when we're not talking about the thing in the room. Like nothing makes me want to vibrate off of this planet more when there is a dynamic at play. Whether or not it's good or bad, I don't even care. I don't even care if we assign a value or a judgment to it. And I think it's probably better if we don't, but let's just fucking talk about it. And that's the thing. Like, and when I say I like, don't like true crime any longer, and I have some serious problems with it, people love to like defend it immediately instead of having a nuanced conversation about, like the role that it plays and like, okay, like if we're gonna talk about true crime, then we also need to talk about like police funding, and we also need to talk about like what stories are being told, and we also need to talk about like the history of race and like the history of policing. Like this is the thing that I get frustrated with when it's like it just becomes one dimensional, or it becomes defensive, or it becomes like, I just think it's funny. It's like, well, like, can we just enjoy things in a vacuum like this? Like, I don't think so. And I don't think so after fucking the last 2 and a bit years, No.
I mean, I feel like everyone's like defensiveness around these things or opinions about these things, it's because like what we like is like really just like a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yes.
and it's personal. It becomes personal in some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's bizarre, but yeah, like why can't you? I don't know. Why can't we enjoy things knowing both of these things at the same time?
Yeah.
Right? Like not
Yeah.
good or bad, like knowing there's still to do, more to learn,
Yes.
more
Yes.
to
Yes.
talk about,
Yes.
and also love where it is now. Like what, like,
Totally.
yeah, like does that, I think like it's too much. It's like some, I don't know, like can we not wrestle with that? Like I don't know, can is
Mm-hmm.
that too much for us? I don't think it's too much for us.
No, I don't think
Like,
so either. And I
yeah.
think that's like the really I mean, like another celebrity podcast, like Jonathan Van Ness's podcast.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Like that's
love Getting Curious. So good.
so good. And like that is a space where like nuance can be held. And like that is a
Yes.
space that, I mean, I'm also saying celebrity podcasts. I know they've been creating that for like a long ass time. But like, yeah, like that is, I think just nuance. Like,
Mm-hmm.
can we hold congruency and incongruency together at the same time? Like,
Mm-hmm.
instead of, and I guess it's like when we're listening to a podcast, we want it to be, well, I'll speak from personal experience, but you know, like I have podcasts that I want to fall asleep to, you know, like I have
Oh,
podcasts that I
wow.
just want to like have
Mm-hmm.
some chatter on.
Yeah.
I have podcasts that I want to learn from. Like I have podcasts, you know, like you go to different things for different spaces, and not all things need to be all things at the same time. But I
Mm-hmm.
certainly think that there is a responsibility of, if we're going to have specific conversations, then we need, like, you just can't fucking talk about a murder of a white woman and tell me that race
Mm-hmm.
didn't have anything to do with the solving of those things. You know what I mean? Or like the
Yeah.
conviction of marginalized community. Like you simply cannot be having that conversation any longer.
Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. And love the suspense, love the drama, love that feeling that it gets you when you listen to this stuff, and
Yeah.
also know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, right. Like also know the other side of these things. Like,
Yeah.
why can't, I don't know. It's because it's about moralism, right? It's about like moralism. I've used a lot of words wrong. Byline was not the correct word, to take it back. Secondly, it's all about like what we think of ourselves ultimately. You know what I mean? Like that's all what it is. It's like, am I a
Yes.
good person if
Yeah.
I like this? Like,
Yeah.
am I good? And like that's white supremacy and blah blah blah. We can go down that. But like, anyways, here we are.
I mean, I guess that's what I'm saying. It's like we can't have a conversation unless we're having a conversation about what dynamics are there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't, like, if we got it, if we have to like
Yeah.
and a reminder, white supremacy is at play, you know, then like that's
Right.
fine. That can be fine.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's the only way to like do anything about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, is to not put people, like not be defensive, to not,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whatever. This is getting into a different situation. But anyways, podcasts.
No, I think it's all the same thing. And I guess that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So, what other ones do you like?
I mean, I've been a Savage Love. You want to talk about a longtime podcaster, Savage Love listener for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. You've sent me some Savage Love before. Yeah.
I love it. And I know I mean, you want to talk about a white man? That's a white man.
Yeah. Dan Savage was just on Dear Chelsea, which I listened to, Chelsea Handler's podcast, celebrity, comedian, all these things we're discussing. Anyway.
Like I really love Dan Savage. I love You're Wrong About. That's one of my favorites right now. Oh, I've got to do a shout out. I tell literally everybody about this podcast. You're having gay sex. We're having gay sex with Ashley Gavin.
Wait, who? I think
Kiefer.
I think our mutual friend, yes, Kiefer, told me about this podcast. Go ahead.
I want to get it right. I want to get it right because I'm obsessed.
I think it's We're Having.
We're having gay sex. Yeah. I fucking love it. It's a conversation that I think is so important. I mean, it's like, you know, the kind of the joke is like talking about queer sex like you would, or just talking about sex like you would with your friends. Mm-hmm. Like in a way that just feels like so much more like it's like all, like I said, it's the conversations I'm having with my friends when I go out for drinks or whatever. But out loud in like a really entertaining, funny way. Love Ashley Gavin. Go give them a give her a follow. And Kate, who is no longer on the pod, but love them too. Who else do I listen to? I used to be. No, I'm not going to talk about things I used to like. That's not entertaining.
Well, the past
although maybe
exist,
it is because I've changed my mind about things. I used to be a really big Last Podcast on the Left listener. I really love Maintenance Phase. Really great podcast on. I think they call it wellness industry, but I think it would be just like, yeah, I think they call it wellness industry, but like anything that has to do with like diet culture bullshit and all that weird crap. Is so entertaining. I love listening to all of my British TV panel shows have a companion podcast.
Yes.
Love listening to those. Love rotting my mind.
I know. I love a podcast that's like what we're talking about, this idea of like following characters, like the real, like the radio, right? Like when we talk about this like medium of the radio, right? It was like for two things, like literally following story, right? And news. So like I love those podcasts. Absolutely love them.
Yeah.
Like I started listening to Being Trans, which is really good. And it follows like four people in like living in Los Angeles, living as trans people, and their everyday lives, or the things that they come through or come to with parenting, or like there's a bunch of different subjects, but it's cool, and it's like it's a narrative podcast. Narrative?
I love that.
Is that the right form?
Like a story?
Like a story. It's like there's a character. There's like it's like you're listening to a play essentially, right?
I love that.
And I love that.
Sounds like
and
couples
when
therapy.
they're edited really well. Yeah, like couples therapy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of couples therapy, I love Esther Perel's podcasts.
Oh my God. Those are fucking nuts. Could you imagine being, I think those are 3-hour long therapy sessions. You got to feel like
that question is yes. I could imagine that. I'm ready. Esther, let's go. Like,
oh my God.
Like, I'm ready.
Like, you have got to feel like an overcooked spaghetti noodle after the end of 3 hours. Keep going.
Oh, yeah. Keep going. Oh, my God. That's amazing.
She's a queen.
Oh, my gosh. Esther Perel is a queen. And I love housework, too. Again, like relationship we don't usually look at. Relationship between colleagues, manager, employee, you know what I mean? And I think that that's a really cool podcast.
I wonder if this is more of a thing. I mean, I love friendships, but I wonder if anyone's ever done that with their friends, like a couples therapy.
Okay.
Like a therapy session with their friends.
Was just saying that this needs to be a thing to a good friend of mine.
I have a couple of people I'd like to take down to the tracks with me.
I know. I'm like, you want to get in the gutter with me? Like, I'm committed to you. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I would totally do that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's another podcast episode for another time. Speaking of podcasts.
Are we making a podcast about therapy for friends? Is that what we're doing? Hilarious. I also feel like another media that like when we think about listening, right, is audiobooks. And
I love audiobooks.
You love an audiobook. I was going to ask you probably love an audiobook.
I love audiobooks, and I love them recently because I'm dyslexic, and it's taken me 20-something years. I've had a dyslexia diagnosis since I was like 5, like pretty young, and it has taken me 20 years to like actually seek resource and like, okay, reading a book, literally, I can't do. Like it depends on the book. It depends on the book. And I think it's funny because I love to write. But sitting, like paying attention for a long period of time reading is like, does not happen very often. And I just started, I put the dyslexia font on my Kindle. Oh. So, I put it on my computer too. Like, fuck, it's stupid. If you have dyslexia, fucking do it. It's so dumb. You're allowed to not have headaches your entire life. And then, like audiobooks, and you can listen to them when you're in the car. It's great. It's also really nice to getting through. I've bothered you about this book a million times, but like really dense, like tough stuff is really like things that you don't like. Oh, this is making me upset. I want to leave. Like I'm listening to We Are the Weather. And
I know I need to listen to
it's so good. It's so good. And I think I would recommend the audiobook just because I think it's one of those topics that's so tough. And you get to hear the author's voice to like tell these stories. And I mean, I even did it the other day. He kind of talks about like, you know, apathy and environmental stuff. And he was talking about it. And like, I was walking the dog listening and was like, this is tough. I'm going to listen to my musicals instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, I love an audiobook. Do you listen to audiobooks?
I don't listen to audiobooks. I mean, I will listen to audiobooks again, yes, around kind of that subject of what you're not subject, but like the idea of what you're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
tough.
Like, if there's like, if it's tough, if it's supposed to help me in some way, you know what I mean? But mostly no. Also, I will listen to an audiobook if it's like a celebrity memoir that I'm like, I gotta hear this person. Like I'm finishing Viola Davis's book right now, and I'm gonna listen to it on
That'd be a good
audio because like you can't not, you know what I mean? Like you can't not listen to Viola's voice. Or like people that you know, like that it's gonna like that it's gonna add something to the experience. You know what I mean? That I might listen to it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
not
like
really.
all of those classic. I mean, oh my God, RuPaul and Michelle Visage I used to love listening to their podcast. It just kind of disappeared at one point. But they had like a classic kind of radio play podcast for a little while. It was so funny.
Fun.
It was so funny. It was so cute. But yeah, like there's like, you know, like the classic novel, I think like Frankenstein or like there've been read, or I think oh my God, what am I talking about? I loved Harry Potter, read by Stephen Fry on CD. I got that when they were coming out, not to like whatever to that. But as a child, I enjoyed this very much because he would do all like the voices and stuff like that. They were so cute. But I think this is a funny question to talk about what we're actually talking about. And you had said like, you know, yes, there's too many podcasts and like this desire to share. We kind of like, you know, we have this desire to consume, but this desire to share with the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what my question is. I mean, we have it.
Yeah, we have it. I think
we're here.
Yes, I think this is like interesting. Like I had a friend recently tell me that like only people who have like lived interesting lives should write memoirs. And I don't know. I think I don't know.
Everyone lives an interesting life. I mean, for yeah.
Like I believe that like everything is kind of worth telling. Like,
I believe it. Yeah.
You know?
That's a deeply subjective thing of what is interesting, right? Because you're not going to listen to, well, I don't know. Like you might not want to listen or read or listen to a podcast or read a memoir, or read a podcast. People do that. You might not want to listen to what you know, or you might.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think memoirs, like that's a totally different thing. And like I'm kind of relating this to here, but I could totally understand what they were saying of like, you know what I mean? Like has every celebrity really lived, has that many stories to tell? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think it's like, what stories are we telling? That's an interesting question. Whose stories being told?
Yes, exactly. But I think, like these are some of the questions that pop up for me, when I think about sharing my stuff, me, you know, like, who the hell am I? Am I interesting? What stories do I have to tell? Who the fuck cares? Blah, 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 blah. Like all of these things, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I think hearing personally, I think hearing about someone's like walk to the park is the most fascinating thing in the world. So
poets for centuries have been writing about their walks to the park.
Yeah, like, and so sure, like talk about nothing with a mic in front of your face. Like I go do it. I don't know.
What do you think?
I mean, don't be an asshole, right? Like caveat.
Yeah.
Caveat is like, you know, but
yeah, be a good person.
Obviously, but like, I don't know.
What
I don't
do
know
you
where the
think...
desire comes from besides community. Like we just want to feel we're part of something and we want to feel seen and heard and understood and all of that stuff and not feel like lonely pieces of trash. Like I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was exactly my question. Yeah. And like, I guess like, yeah, to not feel alone. I mean, you know, even if I guess the motivation is the same to listen and to share is like,
yes,
to not feel alone.
Yeah. To feel understood in some way. Yeah. So ultimately why Phoebe and I are here is to be understood.
Yeah.
To feel less alone. Yeah, I think that's why anybody tells anything. And oh my gosh, who was this? Was it David Sedaris who said this? I can't remember. Some comedic writer said that when they like as a writer they're constantly in conversation with other people and you would not believe the amount of people that have the same story about the same very specific thing. You know what I mean? Like
oh yes,
most of us have stories about
I think it was
blank.
David Sedaris.
Were we
talking about there was like that funny story of the woman, this is probably something completely different, but the woman who like was she had cancer treatment. Oh.
Two different things.
Okay, two different things, whatever. And I don't know what mine is, so never mind. There was like a Facebook group. There was like a Facebook group of writers, and like one of them started writing about the other one's story in the Facebook group or something like that. And then like whatever.
No, I don't know.
Whatever.
Great. Yeah, that's not.
Yes, we all have the same story, but isn't that beautiful?
Like exactly, right? Like we all have this like very similar stories about like pick a subject. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that is, also a huge part of sharing story, right? And like bonding in that way. It's like, oh, I matter and I don't matter at all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think that is I matter and I don't matter at all. Yes. I think that is a funny thing about our friendship. It's this like this like I don't know, and I don't know, like it's like constant similarities, like bizarre ones, but then also like, is it that weird? Like, is it weird that we share so many similarities? Because I'm surely not the only one.
No,
right?
It's like not weird. It's actually like
it makes so much sense. Of course,
we're attracting people that are very similar. I mean, in every level, right? Like, yeah. That's for later.
No, but like,
you know, I'm saying like from like a place of like we like bright colors to a place of like the trauma, you know, like the trauma, the capital T. Like, I know. Like both, like obviously.
Well, if you share similar traumas, like family traumas, then you will like bright colors. It's just a fact.
You will be attracted to whatever. Yeah, no, it's not by, like, of course, obviously. Duh.
Yeah, I guess this kind of comes back to like my frustrations with not talking about the thing, but like I like talking about, to me it feels just when was I going to have a podcast? You know, when was I going to start?
Oh yeah.
in this medium, in this way. And I think it's like I've always had this desire to share. I've always put me on a stage. What one? Doesn't matter. I'll talk about anything. I'll do whatever dance. What do you want? I love that. That's what I'm here to do. And I think my frustration with the celebrity podcast in particular, not to just make this entire episode about celebrity podcast, but like, be fucking honest. You want more attention, and that's what this is. Like, the like part of sharing with somebody is like the desire to like gather around the campfire. Let me tell you a tale. Yes, there's other motivations part of it, like, you know, connecting with somebody, wanting to like learn together, etc. But a piece of it is going to be whether or not, and maybe this is a thing people wrestle with as well, but like, yes, I want to be the center of attention for a second. Maybe not all the time. Maybe not all the time. But for 40 minutes. I surely do.
Absolutely. Like, sign me up. Again, right? Like, what you're saying. We can hold these two things at the same time.
Well, I guess, are there too many podcasts?
The answer, I don't know.
I guess
the answer is that we don't know, and who knows. I do think it's, I don't know, kind of thinking about what does the future of this look like is weird. And I like imagine like everybody, I don't know, like I'm imagining I'm in like my brain goes to like, I don't know, the beginning of a film, right? And the credits are playing, and like we're all sitting inside our little apartments with mics in front of our faces. Like, that's what I think about, you know? I don't know.
It feels very Rear Window.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Well, that's certainly exciting. Who knows? I'm sure we can look back at this in a couple of years after many an episode. I'm sure after a couple of weeks, maybe in 6 hours, and find the hypocrisies immediately. I'm sure I'll have a big apology to give Dax and Monica.
No,
in my accidental takedown.
No, I think Dax and Monica would be like, yes, actually, like, break, like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I think Dax says,
anytime.
Let's party, I think is what he says when he like wants to get into it and argue and like,
Well, thank you very much, friends.
Yes.
Do you ever feel like
hanging out? I don't know. Here we are.
Bye, Jacque.
Okay. Bye. Talk to you in 5 seconds.
Talk to you in 5 seconds. Thank you for listening to Do You Ever Feel Like?
Follow This Chaos wherever you get your podcasts.
Our artwork is by Simon Peng. Do You Ever Feel Like is produced by Jacqueline Wills
and Phoebe Taylor. You can follow us on Instagram at doyoueverpod.
You can write to us at doyoueverpod@gmail.com. Okay, bye!